Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, two sweet prototypes. Bestek's newest combo design, yes, a new one, and describe your ideal folder. I'm looking forward to hearing what people think is, well, not what people think, but what people feel is best in a pocket knife for them, especially a folding locking knife. Just interested. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. I have lots of cool knives to show off. And you know what? We're going to do an impromptu knife giveaway tonight. Next week is the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. But tonight, Jim said, let's give away a knife. And I said, man, that's a great idea. Hey, Byron, how's it going? Howdy, Bob, Jim, Junkies, Cold Steel 6 Max in titanium scales, 3V, wire pocket clip, and one chambered round of 357 Magnum. What? So Cold Steel 6 Max, is that a thing? Because I know there was a 5 Max. I did not know about a 6 Max. If that's true, man, Byron, you are balling. I got to check that out. Mad Hatter, good to have you with us. Lingma L1 jigged tie integral. Ooh, that's beautiful. I love the jigging in the titanium. With 3.5-inch hollow ground blade in K390. Awesome. I hear people really love their K390 Spyderco's. I got a something in the mail from Jim. He's the one person in my life who mails me letters, and I really appreciate it. But they're actually cards. I want to see what this one is. Oh, sweet. Thank you, Jim. 7,000 subscribers achieved on June 30th, 2022. The Knife Junkie vidIQ. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate this. It wouldn't happen without you. That is for damn sure. I really appreciate that. Jim's awesome. Let's hear it for Jim. Hey, Dave. How do you do, Dave? Good to have you with us. Anybody seen Bob? Heard he was MIA last week. Yes, I was. But I'm refreshed. And you think I was prone to talking about knives last week. Chris, how's it going? We have Blade Ogre with us. Blade Ogre, good to have you, man. I can't wait to hear about the 8 knives you're carrying. Never Enough Knives 007, good to have you with us. Hi, you Blade Junkies, he says. Kevin Moore, good evening, Junkies. Tickled to be on TFN with y'all. Ain't dead yet. Kevin Moore, Kevin, it's good to have you here. He had to totally redo his IG, and you know him as the Biggins. Will B, how's it going? Hey, Bob. Everyone else, he says, cheers and cheers. Hey, you may have noticed I can barely contain my excitement. You probably heard a sound before I opened up that envelope. Well, this you may have seen the unboxing, but I just got to show it off. I just have to show this off right now. This is my first legally purchased automatic knife, legally, now that it's legal in my state. And this is what I got. 9198 David, good to have you here, sir. Thanks for joining us. This is the Manticore X. I can't do it with my left hand. This is the Manticore X from Heretic Knives, and I wanted the big one. This is a 4-inch blade, and overall it's about 9 inches, a little more, 9.25 with that nice chill ball bearing glass breaker back here. You can put your thumb over it without any issue. Unlike a knife I was carrying for the pocket check today. I've been carrying this straight since I got it, and I love it. It's wicked sharp. I love that recurve blade. It's hollow ground, as is the Swedge, and it's LMAX steel. Beautiful. I love the shaping of the handle. I do wish there are some things I would change. I would have this jimping go all the way across in a full groove the way it does on Microtex and Protex. I just love the way those channels feel in aluminum when they're milled in like that. Love this thing. One thing, another thing I should say, a second thing, unexpected, is this right here. I'm going to go over to the main camera. It's just got, I know that almost all out the fronts except for the hawk deadlock What is it? I totally, you know what I mean? The G&G Hawk out the front. Besides that, they all have a little bit of blade play, but this one has it when you pretend you're Jason Bourne. You can hear that rattle around. And I got to say, it does not happen in, say, for instance, this Microtech. And well, maybe a little bit, but not as much. I was a little surprised, but I'm still in a honeymoon phase with the knife. But we've just had our first little drunken spat, and we'll wake up tomorrow morning. It'll be like, "You cool? Yeah, I'm cool. Let's go get eggs." Happy Haptic EDC, good to see you. What's up, Bobby? How you doing? I'm doing well, and you, sir? I think you're doing well. Jared Strasbach, good to have you here. Good evening, Bob, Jim, fellow junkies, he says. All right, well, Jim, I'm just bouncing around here, but I had to show this off kind of immediately because I've already used it, and you know, it's like if the gun's on the wall in the first scene, it's got to show up in the first act, it's got to show up at the end of the second act or something like that. Aberdeen Blades, hip hip hooray! Good to have you here. I like your little coat of arms there, sir. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Does anyone else have a Heretic knife out there? All of a sudden now I want a couple more. I want the same model here, the Manticore X in Dagger and in Tonto. They both look pretty sweet. And I also want to check out the sides. Happy Haptic EDC says, I couch carried, I like that term. I couch carried my axial shift S35 clip point. I want to check out those axial shifts. And Lauti X haptic fidget. Okay, I was going to ask you what that was. And an Arctic Storm fat carbon pry tool I made. That's cool. So Arctic Storm fat carbon on the pry tool, or is the carbon itself? You can't use that as a pry tool, can you? Am I just being dense? Blade Ogre, nice auto, he says. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I'm carrying it around legally now. Can I cut your sandwich for you, ma'am? CPM, good to have you here with us, CPM. This whole knife thing that we are into ends when the lightsaber becomes reality. It just evolves into the lightsaber. There will be false starts. There will be attempts. There will be awkward early innovations, but we'll have them someday. We'll have we'll have lightsabers that come out to here, and it will be about the color and the hilt. And who knows, maybe they'll figure out how to shape the laser itself. Maybe it doesn't have to be straight, or maybe it absolutely has to be straight. I don't know. I'm no physicist. Lindbow Knife and Tool, good to have you with us here, Lindbow. Busted the spring on my UTX 85. Too lazy to send it in. Send it to me and I'll send it in. Those UTX 85s and UTX 70s are so cool because like the UTX 70 almost looks like a Barbie doll out the front. It's when you see it in someone's hands in a video, they look so small. It's so kind of cute. Byron says, kudos, Jim, and congrats on 7K, the Knife Junkie. Well, thank you very much, Byron. I appreciate that, sir. I do indeed. Scott N, good to have you here with us. You gotta follow Scott N on Instagram. He does some really great work over there. EDC Oz, like the like button. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Scott N has been posting really great schedules for the lives, and it's really awesome across different channels. It's very cool. EDC Oz, cheers, Bob and Jim. He says, cheers to you, sir. Okay, so let's do a pocket check here. No air rattling on my axial shift. Really? I want to check out the axial shift. This I must admit was this was one of those, well, it was a knife I obsessed over for a couple of weeks and followed and made sure that no one else bought. I pretty much made sure. I was just kind of trying to keep up with it because I knew I wanted it once it was legal, and called to Smoky Mountain Knife Works to let them know it was now legal. It took them about an hour to check the law, and then I was able to purchase the knife. The whole interface changed on the website. It was kind of cool. I think I may have done that, but because I wanted this, it was just release the damn thing to me. But that recurve, oh, it's just so beautiful. All right. Anyway, but I do want to check out an axial shift. I love the look of both the clip point and the worn clip. Both look great. Jay McConnell, good to have you here with us, Jay. Evening all, love the grind on that Heretic. Yes, sir, me too. And with the multicolored, with the flat being that satin, or not satin. It's sort of a satin, and then the black. It really, and then you have that curving flat. It just, I don't know. It's very, very appealing to me. It reminds me a little bit of Walter Brand fixed blade recurves. I don't know. It just does, Scott. And there will be amputation and decapitations when lightsabers come out. Very unforgiving as a lightsaber. Grim Reaper, good to have you here with us, Grim. Good evening, everyone. He says, Happy Haptic EDC says, you are in fact being dense, Bobby. Contrary to popular belief, carbon composites make for the perfect material to be used as an EDC pry bar tool for a multitude of reasons. Check out my last video. Okay, I will indeed. I have an uncle who used to work for Cincinnati Millicron, I think it was called, or something like that. He used to work for a company that was an early innovator of carbon fibers. And now that you're talking it's sense into me, I seem to remember him talking a lot about how amazing it is and listing, not necessarily EDC pry bar tool, but listing that kind of strength as one of its capabilities. And I guess I should know because they're on knife handles that I drop all the time. So Jeremy Nedro, good to have you here with us, Jeremy. I was carrying the QSP Nesmuk neck knife. That is a cool one. And the Spyderco Manix 2. Very nice carry. Before the show, I was carrying this neck knife, and then I piled all my neck knives on at once, kind of like the Mr. T of neck knives, and I was going to do a thing. But then it got really uncomfortable, and I decided I have to loosen some of them because I don't know, I made them when my head was smaller or something, but some of them were really hard to get over my head. I do like my neck knife up high, but yeah, I do like that QSP Nesmuk. Very cool looking blade. Okay, so what did I have? My main carry today was the off-grid Rhino, and that was because I was watching Stasa 23's latest video about his recent budget carry favorites, and he pulled out his baby Rhino, and that's one of my wife's favorites and one of mine. And I was like, I think I'll carry the big manly Rhino today, and I love this knife. This is such a great knife. For a lot of reasons, one of which is I think it looks really cool. It's a clip point. It's an extreme straight clip point, but I'm calling that a clip point. It's got a nice broad handle and a pretty thick handle. I think it's 0.6 thick, or maybe no, 0.55 thick. So a little bit above average, but it also has kind of a tall profile. It's so comfortable in hand, and you can use off-grid knives. I'm always talking about how much I love them. This is a great knife for, like all of them, for cutting through cardboard and stuff. But the grip on this is so nice. But it's got a very thin, high, flat grind. It's a pleasure to cut with. One feature I really love is that rounded off, Commander 1911 style hammer style flipper, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? I love that. It's like no matter where you grab it and it's jimped, no matter where your finger happens to engage with it, it's going to open. And in there, it didn't. But you know what I mean. You can get that full rolling feel, and it feels so good. And it feels so good. It doesn't poke at all or prod. It's so round. I wonder why more people don't do that. And I think it's an aesthetic thing. I think not every knife can pull off around flipper tab. Like not every body type can pull off skinny jeans. Oh, well, personally, I don't really think any body type can, but certainly a skinny waif-like body type is more likely to. I don't accept the premise, if you will. All right, so this is in 154 cm. The OEM is Bestek. The clip is totally recessed with flat screws. There's weight reduction. This knife is dialed in. This is the V2 of the Rhino, and all the V2s now of these off-grid knives have the fully recessed pocket clips with the flat screws. They've got upgraded steel. There's a lot of 154 cm going on in their lineup, and man, I think they're cool as hell, and I love this one. My dad got my brother this at my direction, and I always coveted it, so I got one myself. Great knife. That was in my pocket, my front right pocket. My going around from pocket to pocket was this was the only one that got used today. This is my Jack Wolf Knives Midnight Jack. And by the way, at the stroke of midnight tonight, well, actually, I'm not sure if it's exactly on the stroke of midnight, but these go live tomorrow. These are in a number of dealers. Just go to the Jack Wolf Knives website, but it's in the hands of a lot of the usual suspects and sort of in terms of dealers. And it's awesome. So it's as you can see, it's a Barlow, and you can see that from that very long bolster there. That gives it torsional rigidity and side to side rigidity. And as Barlows were working man's knives, they were built tougher, and so that's part of it. It's coffin handle shaped, like a classic Bowie, coffin handled Bowie, but also I guess a classic coffin handled slip joint. Speaking of slip joint, the joint of the blade and the lock you can barely see. You cannot feel. Everything here is so finished. A lot of hand finishing goes into these knives. You've got triple fluting on that integral titanium bolster. Just an awesome knife. But the blade today proved itself as man. This is I do think this is the thinnest of the four so far, and that could be it. I guess it's 100% anecdotal, but it feels the thinnest. My lived experience with this knife tells me that this is the thinnest of them, and that is because I was able to slip it between a cardboard box and a shipping label that had been on it for months, and split the difference. I basically peeled off a sticker just going between it with about the first half of the blade, and it still has some gunk here which I should have cleaned off before I started rolling here. But great knife. I'm sure that's not the first thing that was intended for this knife. This is a great utility cutter and so many other things. It's got a beautiful downward angle to that straight edge to the handle and slips through material beautifully. I highly recommend these knives. They're amazing. He had a little problem with the last release. There was some blade wrap, so he's having that taken care of. This, in the meantime, is the July release, and wow, it's stellar. Check out everyone's videos on them. They're awesome. All right, lastly today, I had I've been carrying automatics like someone fresh out of high school and out of the house for the first time. I am experimenting and going crazy, man. And one of the things I'm doing is carrying a lot of I'm always carrying an automatic knife. And today's was the double-edged Troodon. This is the 3-inch Troodon, serrated on top and plain edge on the main edge. And just such a great knife. This thing is, oh, there it is. It failed. And I think it's because it fails when I do it with my when I pull it in with my left hand, which is less strong and confident. It sometimes gives me grief, but in general, this is a great knife. It has a very pokey glass breaker on the back. When was this one made? 2016, June of 2016. Elmax, great knife. Yeah, Elmax. Who'd have thunk it, man? I have two out the fronts in Elmax. Great knife, great carry. This was in essence my emotional support carry today, because this was just getting a lot of this. It's a good thing I sit in a room alone when I'm doing a lot of the work I do, because people would kill me otherwise from being driven nuts with that. So there you go. What's in your pocket, guys? That's what I had in mind, guys and gals. Guys and dolls. Hey, dolls, what'd you have in your pockets? All right, so yeah, do let me know. Put it in the comments below. Of course, I always want to know that. And now that I'm looking at all the knives arrayed around me, it just makes me think, what is your description of a favorite folder, an ideal folder, if you could have anything? I had my Grimsmo Norseman. Kaiser Beglighter XL. That's a cool one. That's a White Mountain Knives exclusive, right? With the button lock. Kaiser Mini Sheepdog. Oh, nice. Civivi Chevalier, the Olight Baton 3. That's a good carry. Double Kaiser is a little problematic, but I'll let that slide. Double button lock is also a little problematic, but I will also let that slide because now that I've adopted the idea of bringing multiple knives with me, not just the ones I'm carrying on me, but others that I get to fidget with. In addition, my extra knives, my ESKs. Well, I accept the double brands or the double button locks. Maybe you're like, today I need to fidget with button locks to really work on my technique. Who knows? I don't know. I guess I need to stop moralizing about other people's carry. Thought about buying the Heretic Bush Dagger system deal. What is that? It looks like something out of sci-fi, though much of their stuff does. So what is that? You can change out the blades. It looks like maybe there's a blade that goes around the periphery of something. Do let me know, sir. Dave says, carrying some recent arrival. Oh, God. All right. Yeah, Dave is also like an unleashed beast lately, just picking up just buying some of the most amazing and beautiful knives. Bastinelli Tellum fixed blade. That is a really cool full-handled short but wide daggered, half serrated, awesome knife from Bastinelli that is really light. That was an impression that stuck with me. Williams Mini Quaken, or is that Kaken? I think you meant Quaken, right? Very, very beautiful knife. I love the Williams style. His blades, I feel like you can recognize them. And his son also designs and or makes knives, and you can see the family resemblance. They're cool, man. And then the Max Balance, that was really cool. I've looked at the Max. That was really cool in your Instagram today, or maybe it was a YouTube short. But I've looked at that on paper many times and been like, meh. But seeing it close up in that video, I was like, man, the details around the pivot and just the whole thing, it just looked very, very nice. So very nice carry, sir. Oh, and the Dagger Knives Vendetta 5-inch. Gotta get that. I have to get that. I have to remember to get the Dagger Knives. Dagger Knives is out of Russia, I believe. I kind of wish they didn't have the goofy skull clip, but that I guess is part of the charm. Dan Satermo, good to have you here, Dan. Hey, everyone. I'm not that late this time. It's true. You're not. What were you carrying, Dan? Byron said, just had my simple off-grid Cayman XL today. Okay, so Byron, I went to my younger daughter this morning and I said, what should I carry? This, and I held up the XL Cayman, opened them both up, showed them to her, and she considered it, and she chose this one, surprisingly, because the Cayman is more dramatic. It's more dramatic looking, and I figured she'd go for that, but she chose this. So I went with this. Blade Ogre said, carrying the Hinderer XM18 recurve. Love that one. Blue handled. Blue and orange ASK. Spartan Palace. Protect Brand 3. Another one I really, really love. 80 20.5 with Dragon's Blood scales. Do tell. Bark River PSK. Lion Steel Best Man in silver twill carbon fiber. That seems like a new one to me, or maybe it's just one you haven't carried on Thursdays in a while. And LT Wright Jessmook. So that's made by or designed by Prepared Mind 101. I can't remember his name right offhand. Excellent blade, excellent carry today, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So, Chris, I don't want you to get self-conscious about the fact that I always count, but it is a staggering amount of knives to most people. So it's good to get like a tally. So today you had 8 knives with you. And I think also you probably subscribe to my way of thinking. You probably show up whatever you're doing, even if you work at home, you show up with the knives, and they're there, but they're not all in your pockets all at once, right? I think we've been over this. Jared says, carried the Kaiser Cormorant and Frag Titanium. Sweet. That's the new one, right? That's the new release of that. That's a cool one. What I like about that, it is a little ugly, but what I like about that is that it's optimized. Like the ugliness is due to the desire to have it do certain things, which is be able to be opened in so many different ways. And it reminds me a little bit of the F-4 Phantom fighter plane, Cold War era US fighter plane. And it had a lot of strange angles to the wings that I thought were so cool growing up as a kid. And then when I was doing a show about military stuff, I was interviewing an engineer about that plane. And he was like, oh, yeah, that plane was just like too many cooks in the kitchen. It was kind of a jumble of mistakes. And all those angles were to, and then they developed these heavier jets, I think, for the twin jets to give it enough thrust to power through the bad aerodynamics. And there was a lot that went into it. Anyway, I look at the Cormorant and I think of it kind of like that. It's like the aesthetics of it followed making it functional. With all of those different things they want that knife to do. Anyway, I think that would be cool in an XL. I think I might go for that. Dan says, carried the Civivi Conspirator around the house. I put a milled titanium pocket clip on mine. Oh, cool. I like the Conspirator more and more. At first, I thought it was conspicuously plain, but I've grown to really like it. At least in other people's videos. Jeremy Nedro, good to have you with us, Jeremy. I don't own any off-grid knives, but I'm interested in purchasing one. Does anyone have any recommendations? Well, I do. I do. Tell me first, Jeremy. Let me know. Do you like large or smaller knives? Well, actually, here's the thing. You don't even have to let me know because everything they make kind of has a large or small. If you want to go higher end, this is the Black Mamba version 2 from Bestek. These used to be made by We Knife, but Bestek has proven themselves to be so outstanding. He moved all of his production to Bestek, and this is I love this knife. This is a pure fidgeter's dream, but it's also very stout. It's got a great blade of M390, great blade shape. It's got this cool traditional sort of jimping on the top and all of this pocketing, which is dimpled and looks like a golf ball. It's very cool. Feels great in hand, but it might be a little expensive for you. So if you don't want to spend, I think it's like $200. If you don't want to spend that money, but you like this design, there's another one called the Enforcer that is about the same size, but it's G10 and D2, or 14C, I can't remember which, and it does all the same things. It just is a different makeup, and I highly recommend the Enforcers. If you like really big knives, they have the Enforcer XL, which has a 4-inch blade and is this layout, basically this profile, but it's big. That's my car knife because it's got a big glass breaker on the butt. Those are awesome. If you want to just try a great inexpensive EDC from them, check out the Cayman. And if you like big, they have a Cayman XL. Check out the Cayman. Jeremy, that's my long way around. Cayman or Enforcer. Cayman or Enforcer. Check those out. Kevin says, I have the Concept Preta 2 coming. Oh, from Blade HQ, finally in black micarta with the blue pivot. That's a nice one. I love the Preta 2. As you know, I thought maybe I might have my micarta one out. I've been carrying the micarta one way more than the titanium. The titanium is outstanding. It is so nice. The titanium frame lock is absolute butter. I love it. But for some reason, I keep carrying the liner lock even more. Haptic EDC says, I called the blade shape on the Rhino a slant point. I like that, like the pair of 2s or the 3s, etc., because the spine slants down all the way to the tip. Nothing is actually clipped off. Yeah. you present a good argument. And I will consider that. I like that. Slant point. Maybe we'll have to work on the name, but I like how you're thinking. Never Enough Knives 007 says, doing yard work today with the same off-grid Rhino V2. Very nice. Condor Village Parang. Love the Condor. I have the, what is that? Not the Parang. I have the other one. The Silky Gomboy saw. I need to know more about saws. And the Swiss Army Knife Tinker. The Rhino rocks. Agreed. What a great hard-working knife. Also looks cool. Sounds great. Has a great ting. Or not, it's not a ting, but it's got a great sound. And probably coming through your speakers, it sounds like every other flipper. That's the thing. It's usually kind of difficult to hear when you're watching a YouTube video on your phone. Hear that amazing sound that people usually like. Oh, listen to how great this knife sounds. Unless it's got a ting, something that resonates. EDC Oz, good to have you here. EDC, Spyderco Paramilitary 2 Tonto dressed in Flytanium canvas micarta. Very nice. And copper backspacer. Cool. S30V. I think is that the only thing they made that Tonto in? No, it's like a sprint run, right? Protec short barreled or short, their SBR stands for, what is it? Anyway, SBR in S35VN. SBR, what does it stand for? Someone help me. Something Rockeye. Something short, something Rockeye. The Off-Grid Rhino and Cayman EDC are favorites at Jeremy. So Never Enough Knives today was using the Rhino outside, so he knows and uses, and those are his knows and uses off-grid knives. And those are his recommendations. I agree. That Cayman, they're all tremendous cardboard cutters. If you need a good cardboard cutter, get the Cleaver version 2. The Cleaver is the best cardboard cutter I have in my collection completely. And I have some, I mean, I don't know. I don't do a tremendous amount of cardboard cutting, but I do have to say that knife, it just feels better than any of them. Jay says today's carry was the TRM Atom with Match Anderson Amboina burl scales and the laid back jack. Ooh, very nice carry. Amboina. I'm trying to remember. Well, it's a burl, so it's beautiful. But I know I've heard of that. I'm just not too familiar. Christopher Wilhelm, good to have you here, Christopher. The Midnight Jack kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Friday the 15th. KC, how you doing? Hey, Bob and Jim. I had 2 Budget Beyond EDC knives today. Ooh, cool. The Sunder and the Linear. Hope all is well. Well, sir, all is very well. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here pawing your creation. I have here in my hot little hands the Tempest Knives Pinion, designed by KC, Knives Fast, as you see right here on the screen. He designed this knife, and this is the prototype, and what a beauty. What a beauty. This thing has been, I told him today, I have been carrying this. Well, I shouldn't say have been. I carried it once outside of the house, and I carried it to work yesterday. And it wasn't my main carry, but it was my ESK, and it got a lot of action. Just especially like this kind of action. It is except I was using it in my right hand the whole time. Never failed once. Just so smooth. And once I got used to, well, not used to, but once I was over the novelty of how fun it was to flip and play with, I really started looking at the blade, and the blade profile and design. The profile of the blade is interesting and different, but the same. You know what I mean? The same, but different. I feel like that's what we want. We want something that doesn't look crazy and weird and alien, but we want something that pleases the eye and looks different, is unique. And this fits that bill. And, you know, I'm always talking aesthetics first. It really does fit that bill. And it's got a cool look to the opening hole. It almost has to me, it looks like certain things. and I will keep that to myself. But it has a very great positioning for the tip if you like to use a knife like this, or if you end up using a knife like this. But it also has some belly up front, so it's not a straight up like when I had this out. Like this is, undeniably great for precision cutting and such. But there are certain utility tasks, certain tasks that I would be nervous about that tip because it is so fine and refined. And this, with a little bit of belly, might be a little forgiving if you're not perfect with your angle or maybe with your force. So I just feel like this blade shape gives you a lot of different ways to use it in terms of utility. It's got just a lot of great utility uses, but it also just looks cool. And thirdly, it also shows a design language emergent in KC. This definitely has a this is his sophomore knife design, and you can see the lineage from here to the last design, and I think that's cool. That means Casey's got kind of a design style, you know what I mean? And that's cool. That's, it's nice to have your knives be identifiable, and I feel like this you can make that direct link. So anyway, Casey, that's how I'm doing. How you doing, sir? I got in on the pre-order on this, which opened up on Sunday, and it just so happened I was looking at my phone when it was going live, and I went to, I think it was one of those moments where I was escaping. But anyway, I went right there and got a pre-order for the micarta. There's a black micarta, black G10, contoured, and this thunderhead blue. That's my name for this color, this gray blue. I love it. Yep. So go check out the pre-order for this. Just go to tempestknives.com and check it out. And man, you'll be happy you did. I cannot wait to get mine, and I have no doubt this is going to get funded. On this one, it says AUS 10, and I do believe he said on the production one, there's actually a list of changes. But on the production one, I believe he's going to have 14C. Christoph says the damned Fenrir. Oh, very nice. I like that blade profile. And the mini Beluga today. Man, those are two great knives. I've never held the mini Beluga, but the big one is evidence. I don't know where. Oh wait, I don't go anywhere without the Beglider XL and the Norseman. The Beglider was back in stock at White Mountain Knives, and they have 2 or 3. Ooh, good. Sorry. Good. That's excellent. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for the tip. Had a banner day. Bantered. All right. Had a banter day. The wee banter in blue G10. The Civivi baby banter. This is problematic. In blue G10 with metal Fable octopus bead. What the hell is that? A Quill XL. How cool. And the Swiss Army knife Cadet in blue A-locks. Very nice. Good carry day for sure, sir. And of course, like I said before, I'm not judging anyone by my own standards. That's actually pretty cool. You had the banter and the baby banter, small and tiny. And I'm kind of I have a bunch of my small knives out tonight. I'm kind of going through I think I might be going through a small knife phase. I'm sorry, but Jim, can you go back real quick? Metal Fable octopus bead. Okay? I guess the question is Metal Fable. That's got to be a company, right? Okay, that's what it is. For some reason, I don't know. My mind went to a bunch of different places. Let's see. And Kevin, of course, is getting his Hawaiian shirt ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Hawaiian Shirt Friday. So you be sure that if you have Hawaiian shirts, you get yours ready. I do not, so I will not. But I have one that kind of looks like it could be acceptable. Michael Morgan, good to have you here with us. Michael, evening, Bob and Jim. The Shaman today. Very nice carry, the Shaman. I do must get me one. Silly Geese, good to have you here, Silly. What's your take on people reviewing knives only after carrying the knife for a few days? That's not even remotely enough time to get acquainted and learn about a knife. No? Well, that's funny. That's why I don't call I I I I 100% understand where you're coming from. Uh, I don't call my knife reviews because they are only knife reviews if you are the kind of knife person I am, which is a gawker. Or I shouldn't put that. That's demeaning. I am an appreciator. I am a collector. Imagine a guy who's got so much money he can collect art. It's like that, except they're knives. Most of them don't get carried much. And I look desperately for reasons to use it because my lifestyle does not require them. But they are a luxury that I really prefer not to go without. Um, so I call my videos knife close-ups because I'm showing you close-up and I'm telling you my impressions based on, frankly, what other people have made in terms of like, is this knife similar to another knife, or in my use or in my collection, where does this fit in? And a lot of the times it's a personal connection. So I think that the word review really does imply usage. That's why you can't trust, like, say, a movie reviewer who's disgusted by a movie and watches like 10% of the movie, but then reviews it because they have not experienced it. It's kind of what Silly is saying here. I think, like, without having it for weeks and weeks in pocket. And there are a number of reviewers who do that, or if they're not carrying it for weeks and weeks in pocket, they're doing legitimately or they're making a legitimate attempt to simulate that by cutting through lots and lots of cardboard or rope and that kind of thing, and doing a concentrated period of time where they're testing, and so that in a sense is like carrying it around for a whole bunch of time. So I think using the word review in that situation is totally legitimate. I think to use the word review the way I do knife close-ups is not. I guess that's me kind of agreeing with you, only because, I mean, you could say it's a review because I've seen enough knives and I've held enough knives that, you can kind of tell that this is going to be good, or this is going to be bad, or this is going to be uncomfortable, or this might not be the best geometry, for doing certain kind of things. Like, you can intuit that if you've been doing it long enough, or if you've been collecting knives long enough. But yeah, I guess I'm with you on that. All right, Incognito Griffin says, oh, well, first of all, it's good to have you with us as always, sir. I carried my Vaquero with the gas station slip joint that I like. Ooh, that's nice. First of all, I love the Vaquero Grande. I'm a huge fan of that huge knife. And I also like gas station slip knives, slip joints. I have a sort of little tray over here loaded with all of my Rough Riders and older pocket knives, and it was like under a bunch of papers and pads and cleaning cloths and stuff, and I just excavated it, and it's so nice to look over there and see a whole bunch of these things hanging out. Let's hear it for the gas station or the less expensive knives, high value knives, as Nut and Fancy would say. Blade Ogre, yeah, the Heretic Slay push daggers are modular. You can swap out the blades. That's pretty cool. Heretic seems pretty innovative. Happy Haptic EDC says, Blade Ogre, do you carry a pouch or do you really stack all that weight in your clothing? Yeah, let me know. Because I always got, I drive my car to work, and then I always have a backpack that I carry in to work, and that's where I carry the extras. Bear it on my back rather than on my belt. Love the F4. My dad worked on me at 4. Wait, my dad worked on me at 4 a.m. My dad worked. What does that mean? My dad worked on that plane. My dad worked at. That's cool. Your dad worked on the F4. I got a chance. I went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and in their museum, which is so cool, I highly recommend it. They have an F4 cockpit that you can get into, and it's one of the 2-seaters. They weren't all 2-seaters, I don't think. I think they had both. But you could get in the front seat, and I sat in it, and the canopy came to like here, and it was built for, kind of a like lower down muscular build, and I sat in it, and I just felt like like it was not built for me. What a cool plane, and so loud. Those planes are so loud. They're amazing. Blade Ogre says, I wear 5'11" tactical pants and a belt. There is plenty of room for them and possibly more, but do have to watch the weight per knife. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I have a pair of those, and they have like hidden zipper pockets on the leg. And inside those pockets, there are 2 pockets. So yeah, you could stack, and you could put a number of knives in those internal pockets inside a hidden zipper pocket, and they would be rigid because they're close enough to your leg, they wouldn't flop around. And yeah, I think that would work. I love large knives. Okay, Jeremy, these are the knives to consider then. Mark me, man. Okay, so you want to look at the Cayman XL. You want to look at the Enforcer XL, and then the Rhino is a little bit smaller, but it's still definitely a substantial knife. It's like 3.75, but those are the ones you want to check out for sure. Thanks for the recommendations, everyone, says Jeremy. Jeremy, anytime. That's why we're here, sir. If I get an off-grid, it'll be the Scorpion. Yes, the Scorpion is also very nice. And those were originally made by We and now being made by Bestek. And nothing against We. I have mad respect for We, but the Bestek version is the Bestek version. It is the best version. Or I should say, I like it better. And some of that has to do with some of the refining of the design, like the pocket clip, that kind of thing, that Carrie did. But there's also, I don't know. I just think Bestek is awesome. EDC Oz says, I aspire to one day be able to carry more than 3 knives. So maybe you're not considering some things here, EDC Oz. I think if you consider, what about a neck knife? You can always put a neck knife under your shirt, something small, something light. That'll add to you'll never be underbladed. There are ways to get it in there. Kevin says, fellas, I had privilege to meet Blade Ogre. Oh, in person. How cool. He's even bigger in life than you could imagine and has personalized carry system with all knives set in a specific pocket. Oh, how cool. I love that. I don't know why, but I think it's cool that you guys have met. I love that. And, I guess I could have inferred that from the name Blade Ogre, but he's huge. And Kevin, my impression of you from the pictures I've seen on your Instagram is that you seem to be a rather large person as well, rather broad-shouldered, tall man. So coming from you, it seems like Blade Ogre. Chris, you must be a giant. Chris says, off the grid Scorpion is a beauty. It is indeed. It's funny for people like me who I was overweight as an adolescent, and then got sprung up and got skinny, and then I've always been kind of skinny, and then started doing martial arts, got kind of I got fit, but have always been skinny. I always kind of thought it would be cool for, I don't know, a week, a month, to totally change body types and be a giant hulking person. How cool it would be to experience that. I don't know. I think that'd be cool. But without having to grow taller and do a whole lot of working out. Bob and Jim and my good fellowship of the Blades, Professor EDC, it's good to have you here. Hope everyone is doing well and enjoying the show. What's up? Well, Professor, your video this week about trust in the knife community was hit close to home, because I have been burned by someone I trusted, and in a way I had didn't have much reason to do so, but I appreciated your video, and well, thanks for making it. Happy Haptics said, I missed that last one. Hey Shane, how's it going? Smash that likes, y'all. Oh, thank you, Happy Haptics. Yeah, smash the like button. Shane, how's it going, Shane? Hey guys, carried the classic Mannix 2 in 20 CV today. Very nice, sir. I keep seeing Mannix 2. I do need to get a Mannix 2. I was gonna say I keep seeing the Shaman. And what would you guys choose if I had to get one? And or if I were to spend Spyderco money right now, and by that I mean whatever it costs on a Spyderco, should I get the Shaman or should I get the Mannix 2? Let me know. EDC Oz says, Les George, short-bladed rock eye. Thank you, sir. Short-bladed rock eye. That it is. Professor EDC says, carried my Curtis F3 and Jack Wolf Midnight Jack. I just used my Jack Wolf Midnight Jack today to slip between a label and a box. It was great. How was your Curtis F3? I've heard mixed reviews. Then again, I heard that he made it right. So this old sword says the Williams Osaraku Zukuri Mini Quaken is a Chris Williams the Sun design. He also designed a lightweight folder version. Oh, very nice. And then he did they have a batch or made by Winkler? Didn't they have one made by Winkler Knives, like a batch of the Quakens? Who am I? Is that right? Never Enough Knives 007 said, I have the Zukuri in my cart for tomorrow. Should I pull the trigger? Yes. Yes. I'll just cut out the middleman. Or no, I guess I am the middleman. I'm imagining Dave would say yes. Jeremy said, the Mannix 2 is my favorite knife. They're great. I have one in Maximet and one in S30V. Okay. So I had the Mannix 2 XL, and I really dug that knife. Of course, and I called it my barong. I thought it was like a barong. And then I had to get rid of it because I had to get something else. And it's another sale I regret. Knives Fast says, I'm great, Bob. It's still open. Crossed over 200 sold today. Very nice, man. Very nice. Okay, so the pre-order is still going strong. So go to Tempest Knives, and all will be in 14C 18N. Is that 28N and a mistype, or is 18N something I haven't heard of? I'm sure it's probably the former, because I've heard of everything except half the knives you guys mentioned because you outclass me. Dave says, just missed out. Oh no, on getting the Microtech Annex drop today, but there should be more on the way. I always thought the Annex was a cool knife, and even though I would never use it, I like that they send that sort of steel cable lanyard thing. At least they did on the customs. I bet they do. Hit the like button, says Red. Hey, Red, thank you for being here, and thank you for encouraging our friends to hit the like button. It's much appreciated, man. FEMA Camp Etiquette for Dummies. Good to have you here with us, FEMA. Thank you for pronouncing shaman correctly. How did I pronounce it? Did I say shaman? Because I go back and forth, frankly. But you're welcome. I hope it's shaman. Shane says, there are as many different styles of knife review as there are knives. I try not to define review. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's another way of looking at it. That's kind of what I was getting at, in that depending on your use, you could, if you use your knives the way I do, which is lightly or more as a collect, more to appreciate them in a way, then yeah, minor reviews, because I don't have much to offer in the way of like how this is going to carve wood. I bet it's fine. I bet it's great, but I'm not going to go do that because it's my knife. Just kidding, people. I use my shit. Brandon G says, today's carry, Hinderer XM Bowie, XM18 Bowie, TRM Atom, Swamp Rat Safari Dog Skinner. Damn, man. Nice carry. You don't hear too many people, or I don't on this show, carrying swamp rats, or that's from the Bussy family of knives, right? Such cool fixed blades. I was looking on blade forums, just lurking around, seeing what people were selling, and someone had a suite of Bussy knives. It was like a big kukri, and then a couple of combat maidens, or what are they? Combat mistresses. and a couple of big giant Bowies. That's so cool. You don't hear about Bussy much these days, but I love those knives. Happy Haptic says, I'm in the middle of talks with Ray from Raylight about doing a small run of his Pineapple mini model in Ultem 1000. If there's enough interest, we will move forward with it for any flashlight lovers. That's cool. Okay, I think I remember what the Pineapple looks like, and it's a pretty cool and unique looking flashlight. And I don't know flashlights from Adam. And that Ultem stuff is that amber material that they're making the bears out of, making a special run of bears out of over at Tactile Knife Company. So that's a cool, that sounds like a great material to do a flashlight in, because it seems like it will glow and like ambery and beautiful. Shane says S110 has awesome edge retention, but I wouldn't dare bend it. It can be brittle, but if you know that it's okay. But if you know that it's okay. I know what you're saying, but for some reason I'm not reading it right. S110, I have never experienced S110, and I don't think I've even experienced S90V. I don't think. Dave says, I feel that knife review is just that, an examination of every knife channel reviewer spent weeks or months evaluating in depth, and there would be little content to view. Show, not tell. Yeah, that's an interesting concept too. Like, we got to keep the flow of information. And well, here's a thing. Here's the beautiful part about it. I feel like Dave and I do kind of similar reviews. We look at the knife close up. We talk about the purpose of it and whatever, and look at it and measure it and talk, and then there are others. If you want to watch someone carving wood, cutting up hose, cutting up rope, cutting up tons of cardboard, you watch someone like Stasa. I love his channel. I love his videos. And I love that thing he's added in recently where he does a voiceover and just shows a montage of him really, going to town on a knife. Because I feel like, wow, well, I have that knife. It's good to know that it's capable of that. And if I ever need to use it like that, I can. Or if I ever want to put it through its paces, I know it can handle it, or what have you. But it's just nice to know that these things that you've spent money on will do their job, do great, even if you don't have a chance to test them all and do all that. Maybe it only fits in your lifestyle as a enhancement. Carried my Prometheus design Audax out the front. Oh, that is cool. And the Para 3 and XHP today. That's the new Prometheus out the front that is evocative of their other designs in the handle, but that Bowie shaped blade looks totally different from anything else they've done, and I think it looks wicked and cool. Very nice choice, sir. Professor EDC says, one thing is a review, another thing is a first impressions or a use demo, etc. When you've had your share of knives and also study, read, watch, listen, and use, you can give a complete opinion. Yeah, it's something like that too. Especially about the read, watch, listen, and use, and he puts use in all caps, like that's maybe the most important thing in that list. But those other things like read, watch, and listen, which we all do plenty of, all three of those things, I bet, in our hobby time, so to speak, I've learned so much from all of you who put out videos that I watch, that can't help but filter into my evaluations of the knife. The off-grid Rhino is begging for a hole. You know what? You're absolutely right, dude. It totally is. It is, because not only is there plenty of room and it would look good on the peak there, but there's plenty of, you wouldn't have to change the handle at all to access it. Yeah, that's a good idea. It could be sort of if it were sort of a lozenge shape, it would look like a UFO flying out of a mountain. So, yeah. Okay, Byron says, I'll second Bob's recommendations to visit and see the U.S. Air Force National Aviation Museum at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. If you like planes, this collection in Dayton, Ohio can't be beat. It is. Yeah, you're right. It cannot. Udvar Hazy out here at near Dulles Airport in DC is also cannot be beat. Is also outstandingly amazing. EDC Oz, thank you, sir. Release the inner Hulk. Randall made, please. Okay. All right. Release that. Well, it just so happens I have one right here. Thank you so much, EDC Oz, for that awesome super chat. Much appreciated. I hope this Randall will do. I have two, and I selected the dagger tonight. Here it is, the model number 2 combat stiletto. This is the 2-7, 7 standing for the second number in the Randall knife moniker. Describes the blade length. So this is a 2-7, meaning a model number 2 with a 7-inch blade. These are just ever so slightly hollow ground bevels. I'm going to put this under the knife cam here. Just such a beautiful knife that I am going to salute you with, sir. Look at this handle, stacked leather. Beautiful. They call this the commando style handle, or the commando shaped handle. It's got that aluminum butt cap and a like a nut screwed on there, and then the spacers, red, white, and blue spacers, and then the brass quillions there on the guard. This thing is amazing. This is a really amazing knife. It's very sharp. It's that 440C, I believe. Randall Made Knives, Orlando. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And this one is for you. And please excuse the sound effect. I don't know why I just went, but that's for you. All right, man. All right. Super chat. Love that. All right. Okay. Professor EDC says, thank you for watching, Bob. Really appreciate your comment. Hey, my pleasure, man. I appreciate it. And I'd love for you to share that, when you feel like it. Love to know more about that. Just the nature of it. Nick EDCer says, love the Mannix, but shaman all day. Okay. Does it come down? Basically, you've got a very similar shaped blade, and they're with the shaman's almost full flat ground, and the Mannix is full flat ground these days. And so basically, it pretty much comes down to the lock. Do you think that's right? Is that about right? I would go with the Mannix, because right now I'm with Jeremy, because I just saw a Neve video recently, and he was showing off his Mannix. He was just talking about one and done knives, and his Mannix with the flytanium handles on it just looks so cool with the black blade. And it's all about looks. Billy Spar, good to see you. Why not both? Because I like to set up the conflict in the Spyderco fan's head. It's like, if I had to choose one, what would it be? Shaman over the Mannix 2, says 9198 David. Though I love them both. Shaman over the Mannix. All right. So are people choosing based on ergonomics? Are people choosing based on lock? Because like I said, I'm imagining the blades being the most similar thing between the two. Ooh, excuse me. Kevin says, Metal Fable is an Etsy company or of China. Okay. Highly detailed beads. Great work, Bob. The skeleton on my brass Civivi Asticus is Metal Fable. Okay, cool. Great craftsmanship. By the way, I'm 6'4", 290 pounds, small of stature. Holy crap, man. It's funny. I'm 6 foot and 1/2 inch, and I hold on to that 1/2 inch. But I had a good friend a while back who I worked with, who was 6'3", and just those 2.5 inches made him seem so much taller than me, because I had to look up at him, and most people, I'm either eye to eye and it's so 6'4", 290. I mean, you would seem hulking at 6'1" and 1/2 inch. Mannix is a bit slicier. Shaman is a bit beefier. Okay, well, thanks. Then I think I'd go with the Mannix, because I think I'm already liking the Mannix better anyway. But that, for some reason, makes me feel like I would want it because it's slicier, but not like I'm out there slicing lots of stuff with my pocket knives, or that I would really feel the difference between the shaman and the other. Like maybe if I were cutting tons of cardboard, who knows? But I think I'm still going to go with the Mannix 2. Kevin Moore, what are you doing here? Sitting at home, catching up on content after surgery. Great guest and content as always. Well, I'm not gonna pry. I'm just gonna say I hope your recovery is swift and complete, sir. And I hope the surgery was welcome and elective. Because emergency surgery, let's face it, no one likes that. But anyway, Kevin, I'm glad to hear you at least are making lemonade and catching up on content. That's one of the things I regret the most, is that I have I have video. I'm subscribed to so many people who produce great content, and I get to watch such a small fraction of it. So yeah, glad to see you making lemonade. And it's interesting that the background is yellow. For this super chat, Kevin, you get this, sir. The Biggins EDC. All right, this is my Hogtooth Knives. You know this. This is almost a year old. Good God. I'm going to have to get something new soon. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually working on 2 knives for my mom. She's not watching, but my dad might be. But this is from Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives. Love this thing. This was my 50th birthday present. Got the stag handle. This is 27 parts in this handle because I made it a pain in the ass for him. And wrought iron guards. You've got antique black micarta as the spacer there. And just, man, the wrought iron for the sub hilt and the hilt are from the Longfellow Bridge in Boston. So these are wrought iron from 1890 that was pulled off the bridge when they rehabbed it, which is pretty cool. And that's 5160 and no, wait, that's 15N20 and 1095 blade steel in this beautifully forged, what do you call it? Damascene double-edged clip point blade. And by the way, that's double-edged all the way, which is how you do a loveless sub-hilt fighter. Well, I guess depending on who you ask. If you ask me and Bob Loveless, that's how you do it. All right, so let's give you a salute, sir. Thank you so much for that super chat. I do appreciate it. Here's to you, sir, and to your good health. May your recovery, like I said, be a swift one. On my blade, may your recovery be a swift one. That's how I should have said it, right? Something like that. Something a little more dramatic. Knife cam for the win. Well, thank you. Yes, knife cam for the win. EDC Oz says beautiful grind. Yeah, it actually looks way better than the main camera. EDC Oz says beautiful grind. Thank you. Shane, I say thank you like I did it. Shane Gables says, Bob, I just realized it took you 3 weeks to read my DM. I know. Actually, I had something happen. This is true for a couple of people. This is not for everyone. But I got a dump of DMs. I looked one day and it was like one day. This was yesterday. 16. And I opened it up. You were in there. A whole bunch of people were in there, but down below a bunch of red stuff. I don't know what that's about. But I do apologize, Shane. Not trying to give you any runaround. Metal Monk says, any battle wounds from using your knives as a fidget device? Yeah. Yes, I do. And one that comes to mind, because actually I have cut my hands 6 ways to Sunday, and many of them badly. But since the knives are very sharp, they heal quickly, which is nice. And I tend to heal somewhat quickly. At least I think I do. But there were 2 times where well, no, I'm not going to mention the first time, or though this other time that was more a problem with alcohol. But I was once playing with just fidgeting, just farting around with my pacing, thinking about something else, but with my Hawk-billed Emerson, the Peace Arc. It's a Hawk-billed chisel cut Emerson that comes to a wicked point, but it widens out pretty quickly. And I dropped it, and it was half open like this, and it fell. And imagine this is a Hawk-bill. It landed in my calf like this, and then it went and dropped a little bit more. So it buried itself in my leg, and then the weight of it, it's not like it slid down straight and cut me like that, but the weight of the handle made it do that, and it just like increased the pain and the size of the wound. And that was a bad one because it was total absent-mindedness. I was just chilling, walking around, thinking, pacing, doing whatever, and this knife just fell out of my hand and like could have killed me. And it really made me think twice. How do you pronounce this? Because I don't recognize you, but it's so good to have you here, Joe. I'm just gonna call you Joe, and then maybe phonetically spell out the first part too. Sixper, Joe. Well, Joe, Cold Steel Raja 3 and Airlight Tonto. Ooh, very nice. I've never had an Airlight or the Raja 3, but I do have the Raja 2, so I kind of feel like I'm in the same family line there. But the Airlights are especially the Tonto, because it's that wedge front sort of Tonto like that. I really do like those Airlights. I'd like to check one of those out. The Mannix is flat scaled and the Shaman is rounded, but I prefer the compression lock. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, the way you say that makes it sound like you do prefer the flat scales, but the compression lock trumps it, is how it sounds. Yeah, and it almost seems like the rounded scales might make it more difficult to pull back that spring on the Mannix. Maybe not. Because I had the Mannix 2 XL, and the pullback on the lock was pretty stiff. Like that spring was pretty strong. Shaman is more stout and for harder use. I think the Shaman is more versatile blade. I do love the Mannix though, says Professor EDC. All right, well, James Moore, good to see you here, James. Ideal liner lock. Thank you. I was just about to say, well, tell me what's ideal. Thank you. James, ideal liner lock with marbled carbon fiber, black Timascus inlays and spacer, hand-rubbed Vanix blade, hidden hardware, rounded contoured scales, thick handle, thin grind, front flipper, blade hole. Continued. 3.75-inch blade, comfortable clip, lots of nice details in the scales, liners, and spacers. No plant or animal parts, and no Tonto. No Tonto, right? That is great. Jim, can you back it up one? I want to take this all in again. This is perfect. Like this is ideal, the way you lay it out. Not my ideal, but you're thinking this is nice. Liner lock with marbled carbon fiber, black Timascus inlays and spacers, hand rubbed Vanix blade. I'm curious about shape of the blade. Hidden hardware, rounded contoured scales, thick handle, thin grind, front flipper with blade hole. Thank you, Jim. 3.75-inch blade, comfortable clip, lots of nice details in the scales, liners, and spacers. No plant or animal parts. I remember you saying the no plant or animal parts a couple of times, or not a couple of times. A couple of shows ago when I was talking about RJ Martin and how much I would love to have an RJ Martin with the mastodon tooth or whatever the hell it is. It looks so cool, and you're like, no. Yeah, I know you're a carbon fiber. You love these crazy modern materials. So cool. The swirling metallic materials, we'll call them. Jeremy says, I hope everyone has a great night. I'm out. 4 a.m. cones here. Or early. 4 a.m. comes early. Tomorrow is OT and knife money. Oh, good. Good for you, man. Yeah, hit it hard and get your rest. And we'll be here next week, man. Thanks for joining. Have a good night. Knives Fast. Got to run later. All KC, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for showing up to the show, and thank you so much for entrusting me with this super cool prototype. This pinion. Everyone, check out the pinion in at tempestknives.com for the pre-order, and now we're going to give away a knife. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. EDC Oz, RJ Martin is on my short list. His work is absolutely stunning. Agreed. All right, so let's show off what this is an impromptu knife giveaway, and this is comes to you from me via I should just say this was given to the channel by This Old Sword Blade Reviews, Dave, who may be still with us in terms of still watching. But this is really cool. This is an SRM, which is San Renmu's model or company, and it stands for Stay Ready for More. And to me, it stands for kind of San Renmu also, but this thing, it's called a Quaken, and yeah, I'll say it is a Quaken. It's got very compelling and cool patterning on the handle. It reminds me a little bit of that K2 by Kaiser, one of their models. They do this too to sort of evoke the laced wrapped handles that was a Tsukamaki handle wrap on Japanese swords and blades. And this has a very nice sort of traditional upswept Quaken Japanese profile. This is in D2 blade steel. This is a double layer G10, and you've got liners, steel liners in there with weight relief triangles cut out of the liner, which is cool. And man, this thing has an awesome bar lock. San Renmu, I guess they've been making bar locks anyway for quite a while, and I guess they already had it dialed in. I guess they weren't waiting for patents to expire or anything. And I'm looking at the knife cam right now, and this looks really cool flipping in and out. It looks like it is very fast. It's got great action, but it looks cool to flip out. Whoops, sorry about that. I can't tell if this is on bearings or not. You got a thumb plate. You got incredible smooth action, deep carry pocket clip. So all you got to do is hashtag knife, and this could be yours. Hashtag knife, and we are going to give it away. I'm going to set a timer. If I don't set a timer, this will go, and I will run off at the mouth, and I will forget. So I'm going to set a timer for 6 minutes. We're giving this knife away in 6 minutes, people. 6 minutes. So that's about the amount of time you sit on the couch in the morning when it's very early while your coffee is brewing with your hoodie pulled over your eyes and your arms crossed and doze. So 6 minutes is what you get. Hashtag knife in the comment section, and this SRM Quaken could be all yours. It is a very cool knife. Here, let me hold it here and show you. Just a really great action and a very good looking knife. It's very light and thin too, but it's got a pretty nice long blade. What is this? It's got to be 3.6 at least. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2, 3. It's about 3.75, something like that. 3.7, 3.68 or something like that. 3.682 inches long. Very nice cutting edge, very sharp, very great, very good action. And yeah, dig that knife. So who wants that? Hashtag knife. So now while we wait, I'm going to show a knife. This is not a review. I'm just going to show it. And it's going to take 4 minutes and 44 seconds because that's how much time we have left until we draw the knife. This is another really cool prototype from another really cool person that I'm very, very honored to have. Very honored to have coming across my table. This is from Israel Bacchus of Arcane Designs. God, forgive my left hand. It's not very coordinated sometimes. Let me try this again. There we go. This is the Praetheon, and just a beautiful looking knife. Now, this is geared more towards EDC than, say, his that one, the Arch Nemesis. Or no, the This one, also an Arcane design. Man, I need to get some of that ultra brain or whatever that stuff is called. Anyway, it's a lot easier to carry because it's smaller and than this and the other Arcane designs. And it's a little bit more EDCable, and it's also in materials that, I'm sorry, I'm just going to use my right hand. It's also in materials that are a little less fancy. You got G10, and you've got G10s with a G10 inlay there. You do have, I think the blade is M3. Oh no, it's S35 VN, and you've got a cool little opening vent there. You've got nice jimping, great front flipper, despite what my left hand was showing. Wait, I'm going to do this with my left hand. Yay! The crowd goes wild. Just really cool look, but great ergonomics at the same time. You get that from Israel. You look at it, you're like, I don't know how that's going to feel. And then you get it in hand. It's like, oh, yeah, it feels good. It feels very good. Melt in the hand, even though it's got some angles to it. You can see down in the well there, Arcane design. That's cool. And then you see all that weight relief in the liners. Here's a thing that I love. That loop over pocket clip doesn't loop too deeply, so your pants aren't going to get caught up there. It's reversible and it's sculpted. It's like a sculpted spring clip that's reversible. It's a really well designed pocket clip because you get the best of both worlds. You get the luxe factor of a sculpted clip, but you get the practicality of the spring clip, and then a very nice way to just swap it under the scale from side to side, or not under the scale, over the scale from side to side with that screw on the end. Great action, front flipper, thumb stud, very cool knife. Now, this is a $200 knife. You can, wait, that blade is 3.25 inches. You can take this up to $350, I believe, by getting the titanium version, or you can go up to $650 by getting the Damasteel and Mokutai version, or Damasteel and I don't remember, but some super exotic material for the handle. So you can get this at the 200, the 350, or the 650 price range. And I think the design is stunning. I love that clip point blade, and man, I'm very grateful to have this as a prototype. It'll be cool to see once it comes out in full. By the way, that's a flat ground blade. Beautiful knife. What do you guys think? Do you like this thing? I love Israel Bacchus's designs. I think they're super cool. Okay, 35, 30, let's see, 30, 41 watching, only 18 entries. Okay, no one wants the knife. Well, I shouldn't say no one. You 18 people are not no one. That's not what I mean. You are someone. You're the smart someones. No, I'm just kidding, people. I don't know why it should matter. People who want the knife, put the hashtag in. So that's good. And we're going to give it away in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, guys. So let's do this. Who wants this cool SRM Quaken, courtesy of This Old Sword Blade Reviews? Excellent bar lock knife with D2 steel, very sharp, evocative of a traditional Japanese blade, but with modern manufacturing and materials. Super cool knife. Who wants it at hashtag knife? Jim, shall we bring up the thing? What do they do here? It's not a wheel. It's a random number generator. Yeah, there we go. 20 entries. Okay, let's see who gets it. Hunter. All right, Hunter. Man, they keep you on tenterhooks with this thing. They slow it down, they slow it down, they slow it down, and then they stop on Hunter. All righty, man. Well, congratulations, Hunter. This knife is yours. Let me know what your address is. you can do so by DMing me on Instagram, and I'll get it, according to Shane Gables, in 3 weeks. No, I'm just kidding. You can text me on Instagram or message me on Instagram, or you can go to the website and send me an email through the website. Yeah. So this is yours, and I will have it in the mail to you. And don't cut yourself. Very nice knife. All right. Thank you, Dave, for supplying this. It's always a pleasure to give someone a free knife. And this comes courtesy of Dave and his generosity. Much appreciated. Ideal knife, as says Incognito Griffin, is an XL Espada with a Tonto style blade. That would be perfect. Huh. Wow. I would love to see. Maybe I need to make a drawing of what I think that would look like. It would be dramatic as hell, man, because that handle, I mean, you could fit one hell of a Tonto blade in that handle with that curve up. That would give you a lot of accommodation of width in the blade. You could do something cool. Kevin Moore says, Bob, had 4 bypasses, 1 patch job on another artery, and found out I had a heart attack some time back, yet doing great now, just at home for 8 weeks. God love you, man. My grandpa D had a triple bypass back in the early 80s, I remember. He was in the hospital for a number of weeks. And yeah, wow, man. God, that's how amazing to be stout and sturdy and not even know you had a heart attack. Nicely done, sir. And glad to hear you're on the mend. And 8 weeks, that's plenty of time to catch up on content, man. Never Enough Knives 007 says Manix 2 XL. Good knife. Good knife, especially with I had a deep carry, a Lynch clip on it. It was so sweet because it was like pretty big, but it could get snugly down in the pocket. I already own the ideal knife, the Chris Reeve Knives Sabenza. There you go. There you go, Shane. So Shane's ideal knife is the Chris Reeve Sabenza. I have the Omnum Zahn out tonight, and every time I pick up this or my Sabenza, I remember why they have the reputation they have, because they really are that amazing. And if you're out there and you're kind of scoffing and saying, "Oh, Chris Reeve, all right, fine, whatever," I've never, if you haven't experienced one, and you'll see, it's very true. It's very true. Experience it and you'll see. I like the Sabenza 21. That's the one that I have. EDC Oz says, really dig the Necronaut. Yeah, the Necronaut is cool. That's the Tonto. And then the Crawler is the blade of the Tonto just reversed. Whoosh, and it gives you the Wharncliffe of the Crawler. Cool knives. What is this? The Antimatter. I called it the Arch Nemesis by accident. It's the Antimatter. This one is so cool. Double-edged dagger. You can get it single-edged, but why? Brandon G says, hey, Brandon, good to have you here. I like that Praetheon and that he's offering a G10 in titanium version. Me too. Most of Israel's knives are, north of 250 or 300. I think more in the 300 range. So it's nice to get his design style, because his designs are just so cool in something that's a little more affordable. Front flippers make me want to punch people, mostly designers. That's awesome, man. I don't know, man. They are growing on me. And the funny thing is I feel like I discovered them a long time ago with my Emersons. Before front flippers were cool, I was front flipping my Emersons off the Tang, not necessarily this 13, which I keep kind of tight, but yeah, this and even the ZT 0640 you can front flip. Hey, how's it going, Brant? Just got your stickers in the mail today, sir. Yo, he says. A lot of good. That picture of you at 50 or in 50 years was pretty amazing. You age well. Brent put his face through a one of those aging filters and posted it on Instagram. And yeah, He looked good. He looked good as a, I don't know, you're a young dude. What? So this was you as a 60-year-old, 70-year-old, something like that, 70-year-old. Oh no, you just turned 30. That's not you as an 80-year-old. That's you as a 50-year-old. Okay, I'm done. This is not interesting to anyone who hasn't seen the picture. Dan Satermo says, how can I experience a CRKT without buying one? Yeah, that's the problem. No, that is an issue. You go to Blade Show. No CRKs for me. You guys can have them, says James Moore. Thanks, James. James is a man of refined taste, but that doesn't mean that he likes all refined knives, you know. And I must say, the CRKs, which he says we can keep, are definitely refined knives. But at the same time, I can also understand not, because the disdain with which he dismissed CRK knives leads me to believe that some of it has to do with, oh my God, everyone says Forrest Gump is such a good movie. Like, I don't even want to see it now. Like, how can all those people be right? I'm not saying you haven't experienced a CRK. I'm sure you have. But sometimes when people hype something up so much, it just turns me off. A little bit of that. I don't know. Either that or you just think they're crap. Incognito Griffin says the Tonto style XL Espada would be lethal since you can use the end of the handle and swing the knife with the secondary tip, which would be lethal. That's right. That'd be bad. That'd be pretty cool, man. Byron says my ideal is the Cold Steel 6 Max 3V. Oh. Okay. All right. So before, when you put that up there, you were already giving your ideal. I gotcha. All right, the 6 Max 3V spear point blade, titanium scales, wire clip, blacked out completely. Okay, skip the 357 Magnum round. Okay, all right. I'm slow on the uptake. I see what you mean, because when I saw 6 Max, I got all excited. I'm like, really? There's a 6? I know there's a 5 Max. Now there's a 6 Max. Holy mackerel. Okay, let me show you something cool that came with the Heretic Knives Manticore XL. So this came in the mail from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And since it did, if you spent over $100, they gave you a free Cold Steel Kudu. And this is, man, is this a vast improvement over the Cold Steel Kudu I bought off Amazon a little over a year ago. If you saw that video, it was the kind with that ratchet lock and the ring, which you pull, a very traditional kind of setup. But mine broke on the very first time pulling the ring. It just broke the cheesy little metal spring on the back. And so I sent it back and said, made a video and said, it's a shame. It's such a cool knife. That is such a piece of crap. Well, they improved things ever since they saw my video. No, I'm just kidding. I had nothing to do with it. They had already made this change by the time I had bought my my thing, and they don't even know I exist. But it's this back spring kind of sort of slip jointy thing, except, well, it's not exactly a slip joint, but it does have the spring on the back, and it sort of works on the same principle, except it's locking up by, not by the face of the tang, but by the top. And it's very stout. This is a really good knife. I really like this. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a quarter. So for I think this is like a $10 or $12 knife. This is a great $10 or $12 knife. It's in a vaunted, much loved steel 5CR 15 MOV. 5CR15 MOV, known for its edge holding and known for its beautiful microstructure, is 5CR15 MOV. But even so, I'm still willing to carry and use this and throw this in my backpack. I really do like this Cold Steel Kudu. And of course, despite the 15 or the 5CR15 MOV. I think the only other 5CR15 MOV knife I have in my collection is the Walmart version of the CRKT Minimalist Bowie. I believe that's in 5 CR15 MOV. Hasn't let me down yet, but then again, what have I really done with that knife besides open up letters and packages? But this cold steel kudu is cool. And my good buddy Kurt just went to Africa, and I forgot to ask him to find me a kudu knife to bring back. Regrets. What are you gonna do? All right, putting this one away. Oh, by the way, great walk and talk on this thing, and very stout on that back spring. So if you got 10 or 15, whatever this costs, 10 or 12 bucks, kick it in your pocket. You want a great, very useful folder that you could do a lot of stuff with this. You could throw this in your picnic basket, or if you have a pool bag or whatever it is, something that you you can, if you have a bag at the ready that you take, this would be great for cheese and food and bread and stuff like that. But it's also a very useful, it could be a useful gardening knife. It could be useful in the garage, in your truck, whatever, in your car. These cold steel kudus are cool, man. And I would say worth the 10 shekels. Do it. Just do it. I know you've been on the fence. You've been obsessing about the cold steel kudu. Just get it, man. You won't be sorry. Savali, how you doing, Savali? Good to have you with us. I think the ideal folder depends on the occasion, to be honest. Well, yeah, you could be right. I think my ideal folder at this moment, it's kind of like what you were saying, but instead of like the situation, my ideal folder just changes with my mood. Right now, my ideal folder would have a worn cliff blade. It would be a bolster lock with really nice micarta and kind of a blasted titanium bolster. It'd be simple and rugged and handsome and poetic, just like your humble host. James Moore says, I probably would have liked CRKs in the 90s. Speaking of which, better movies than Forrest Gump from 1994. Leon, the Professional. I remember that. That's that French dude. And that was the first movie Natalie Portman was in. Is that right? To Live. I don't know what that one is. Pulp Fiction, Hoop Dreams, Shawshank Redemption, and True Lies. Some classics in that lineup. My favorite of all of those by 1,000 miles, though, is Pulp Fiction. Love that movie. EDC Oz says, all hits James. I got you. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. See? Yes, I get it. All hits. Yes. All awesome. Kevin Moore, I'm waiting on the new Civivi Thug 2. Yes, I am too. And actually, we just talked with Matthew Christensen the other day. He has some very interesting news about the Thug, We Thug, and the Civivi Thug. So make sure that you watch the upcoming podcast or listen to the upcoming podcast with Matthew Christensen so you can get your download on the Civivi. How's it going, Brant? Good to see you, sir.
It's going pretty good.
What's new with you?
Well, what I'm wearing, and shout out to the EDC Roundtable. If you have not yet, go to their website. They got everything you can think of on there. My friend Forrest Hanks makes these shirts, and also Hanks for anything. Yeah, just giving them a cool shout out because he can make you a cool Hank or something, with cool. Knives Junkie on it.
So I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. What's it called?
The EDC Roundtable.
EDC Round. Oh, yeah. Who were we just talking? Who's associated with the EDC Roundtable?
Said Stevie and Matisfaction. All of those good guys over there.
Okay. Yeah. We were just talking to someone, and that just came up. Mad Strangulation Charges. Good to have you with us, Mad Strangulation Charges. He or she says hi. I can't tell from the name, but I'm assuming you're a dude because most people are here. Shane says Pulp Fiction may be the best movie of all time. Oh my God, it is so good. I've
never seen it.
What?
I've never seen it.
Okay. I did hear you the first time, and it hurt just as much to hear the second time. But let me just say, you gotta see it. You really
know.
should see it. It's part about
Everybody
if you
tells me to.
want to understand the damn culture you're living in, you got to see that movie. Therapeutic Edge. It's good to see you, Peter. Greetings, hooligans.
What's up, Peter?
Good to see you, sir. Well, what do you think? Do you think Pulp Fiction is worth Brant seeing? I mean, should Brant not rush right out? He might want to see Reservoir Dogs as a appetizer. You ever seen that?
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino, he's a Hollywood director.
I've seen the Hacksaw Redemption. I've seen that with those guys in it. Yeah.
Did you say the Hacksaw Redemption? What'd you say?
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm Texan. I cannot say words right because I can't.
No.
Hacksaw. It's Hacksaw. Whatever.
Shawshank. And you know what?
Shawshank.
My mom and my dad, who are both, well, not so much my dad. My mom is one of these people. She's very suspicious of anything that lots of people like, and she loved Shawshank Redemption. But I inherited from her that specific suspicion of anything that, even if it's great, like the Mona Lisa, too many people like that damn painting. There's something about it. It's too common or whatever it is. And I inherited that from her. And man, have I missed out on some good movies. Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, let me show you something cool. And actually, this is something that's been going through. Let's see. I got this from Mike Emler. But for Mike, it was in the hands of Jared Neve. This is from River City Steel, and it is right up my alley. The Fang. It's kind of been doing the rounds, and I've been seeing. I think he's been getting them in the hands of people who like these kind of things, such as myself. Here it is in the sheath with the ulti clip. But what it is a very small, very discreet Pikal style knife, and that teardrop fits really nicely in the handle, just nestles into the hand, and no one's going to disarm this from you. Like, there is a chance sometimes, theoretically, of course, I've only experienced this in training with friends, but theoretically, if some of the pommel of a knife is exposed, there is some chance that something could happen to dislodge it. But if it's totally buried in your fist, it just makes it a more difficult thing. It's almost like having a push dagger. You know what I mean? Coming out through your fingers. But yeah, it is, isn't it? You know, you got the edge on the back and the tip going down, and it's just a cool little thing. And does anyone here remember? I'm not sure. I'm usually one of the oldest people here, so I don't know who might remember this knife, but the Desperado. Anyone remember the Cold Steel Desperado? I kick myself. Well, it doesn't happen daily anymore, but I kick myself for not getting that thing. I had like a billion opportunities before they discontinued it, but it had this sort of teardrop shaped blade. It was in that that sticky that rubbery material, but it had a 5-inch Vaquero serrated blade. So the handle nestled in your hand like this, and then you had that big ass blade coming out, and there was it was just it was nasty. I'm sorry, could you go back, Jim? I saw Shane had a okay. True Romance was Tarantino's first screenplay, and it's awesome too. I love that movie. That's one that my wife and I quote to each other quite a bit. Michael, since Cold Steel, Michael, good to have you here, sir. Since Cold Steel turned into, in my opinion, garbage, the Off-Grid Enforcer XL. So Michael, you think that they've turned into garbage that quickly? And I'm curious about that. I've only gotten a couple of post SRM post sale Cold Steels, and they've been cool. They've been good ish. But I'm just curious to see what people are thinking about as they continue to be managed under this under the GSM conglomerate. Are they going to slip? But I'm with you. Enforcer XL all the way. That knife is so good. Dan says, I'm older, Bob, but younger in terms of knife knowledge. Oh, okay, good. All right, Dan, you're a fellow traveler. And Kevin, I'm out, junkies. Have a great evening. Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure, and have a great day tomorrow. I hope you're feeling better. And even if you're just taking it easy tomorrow. Try and put that Hawaiian shirt on. It will raise your spirits. Chris McNair, good to see you, sir. Good evening, junkies. What's up, Bob and Jim? Long day of work and adulting for myself. Glad I could check in tonight. Glad to have you here, Chris. I hope you've gotten your Tonto in the mail, your Tucson. Incognito Griffin says, I think the quality of cold steel is the same. It's just they're pricing new knives higher than they should. Yeah. So how do you feel about it, Brent? Do you have any experience with cold steel? Do you know about how they got sold to that big conglomerate?
I heard about it when Lynn Thompson was making a video about it, and then I was like, at the time I was into Hinder knives, so I was like, well, I mean, it's his decision. If he wants to do that, he's a big boy, he can do it.
That's so just at the time you were into Hinder knives?
No, I mean, I was really into like all different knives at the time when he was doing that, but I don't know. I mean, I quit buying cold steels because of the steel they choose and the stuff they put it in, and I'm just not a big fan of them anymore.
Yeah, I just to clarify, I was being a sarcastic jerk just before when I said, "Oh, you liked Hinderers back then." Yeah, I get it. Like, cold steel to me is probably like Hinderer to you. To me, cold steel was my aha discovery in before. I'm just gonna say when I was in high school in the late '80s, I got my first like expensive knife, and it was the cold steel Master Tonto for $115. And so ever since then, I still have that knife. It still stays next to the bed. And ever since that knife, just something about cold steel has always just gotten me excited. Just woo! But with the GSM thing, not as much, because it is Lynn Thompson really that got me all excited because of his background and all the bladed martial arts that he does, and his collection and his like really deep knowledge of historical knives. And that's always been a thing for me. Like, how cool is it that he takes these historical knives and updates them and puts them into these kick-ass tactical packages. Hollywood Tactical says, unfortunately, I can't tell the difference between new cold steel and new old stock cold steel. I can't either, except for on the one knife that's the 4-inch Tylite Chris has a cheesy handle. The handle just seems cheesy, but the blade is beautiful and perfectly like ground, and that's a tough one too. Hey, Brent, anything new? Anything new around? I was just showing off some of my new stuff. Anything cool on your?
I have this one that I'm on. It's on loan, but American Blade Work.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying them out, see how they are, because I've heard a lot of people like them, and so I was like, yeah, let's just give it a nice one. The guy that I got to lend it from his name is Cue Ball. Nice guy, really nice guy, and he let me borrow this for as long as I like. And then here's my newest one.
Oh, sweet. Fire Tack.
Love the Fire Tack. This is my third one, and I love this. This is a great knife.
I'd like to check out a Fire Tack recurve. I like the look at that. Was actually the recurve was the one that brought me into the full. I did not like the look of the Fire Tack, and then I saw a recurve with a black blade, and I was like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I missed out on that. I was like, man, I want one so bad, but they're so hard to find now.
So I got this. I have my American Blade Works. This is you have the Model 6. This is the Model. You have the Model 1 version 6. This is the Model 1 version 5. So the version 6 he has made in titanium, and he's also made his liner locks. And I love this knife. And Michael Martin is the proprietor, and he's one guy, and he makes these in his garage.
Yeah, that's amazing to me how he designed something this awesome.
Yeah. And just makes it, he's like a one-man band, and his family helps, and they're very nice. And I've met them a couple of times at the blade shows. And But yeah, I really love it. And I have to be honest, as a guy who wholeheartedly believes that variety is the spice of life, I can't wait to see what his next design is, because he spent quite a bit of time listening to customer feedback. He went through 6 versions of the knife before he settled on this. This is just a version 5.
Like,
and
I've seen the original, the Model 1, and the version 1, and it came from a long way. Long way.
Yeah. Chris McNair says, I received my prize after a long work trip. Thanks, Bob. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for tuning in. The blade is absolutely the highlight of the TS38. It will hold me over until my nimble T shows up. Sweet. I'm glad to hear it, man. Yeah, that TS38 has a beautiful sort of clip point Americanized Tanto blade. And it has a very small flipper tab, which is a mixed blessing, because I like it in the carry. I don't like a very large flipper tab, but sometimes my finger skipped off of it. It even happened here. But hey, every knife has its pros and cons. Pretty much every knife. What was that last comment that was up about Tarantino? Christoph Wilhelm says, Tarantino has an extraordinary career, all terrific films. Who's a fan of Death Proof? Yeah, but Scorsese's Taxi Driver is still the measuring stick. I could not agree with you more. Taxi Driver is very, very, very close to my heart. I love that movie, without a doubt. I talked to Michael Martin on the phone today, says Shane. Such a nice guy, and he stands behind everything he sells 100%. That's awesome, Shane. Do you have one of his knives, Shane? Did you get something from him? Yeah, very nice guy, and very warm dude when you come up to his table. Very, very cool. Let's see here. Let me ask you something, Brent. Do you have automatics? They must be legal. Oh, you do. You have the Hinderer automatic, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap up with, I want to see that, because we've been talking automatics a lot, because they just were legalized in Virginia at the beginning of this month. So I've been carrying, I've been into out the fronts a little bit more than out the sides, because I've been really looking forward to, getting this big recurve Heretic thing. Love it. Love this knife. It's a funny way to open up a food package or to cut your sandwich in half, but what a cool device.
It is. Trying to find mine.
My little Launch 9, I should have brought it down. The Launch 9 that I keep on my keychain, or kept on my keychain for over a year, got nicely rubbed down on all the corners from the aluminum. Oh my God. Hey, Jim, can you go wide on him? I want to see this thing. How's the action?
This thing's pretty cool, because it's got a 5 system where you can make it stronger or lighter.
How's that? Is there something that you dial?
Take it apart, take the spring, put it on 4 of the little dots inside, and you can literally just make it, literally, if you want to make it harder or softer. I like mine just like this, because it's easy to show off.
Yeah. Oh God, that's beautiful, man. That blue anodization is gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's got a little wear and tear on it, because there's a scratch already on it.
I will be referring to all of my knives as devices from now on. Seems less threatening. Yeah, unless you say it like this. That's a nice device. If you say it in kind of a creepy voice, it might not work.
It's so nice.
Yes. Well, let's take this happy little device and see where we can put it. All right. Perhaps it's getting late. What do you like better, out the fronts or out the sides?
Well, I mean, my only out the front is my Lightning. That's all I got. I only have one. I don't have that. Lightning is long gone.
Do you want to argue about it for a second?
I don't mind.
All right, let's have a knife fight. Out the front versus out the side. You get to choose, sir.
I'll do out the side.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, that's good because that's what you have and that's what you're into because of that hinderer. And I'm into these out the fronts. But I'll let you go first.
All right.
Okay. Wait, I'll give you a little count in. Okay. I'll give you a little count in. All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You get 1 minute.
So, out the side is way better because even though when you have your hands full, but if you're trying to get your knife out and you literally can say, you know what, I'm gonna get my knife out, just open it, close it, no matter what. I get that out the front is easy to close, but these were more popular than the out the fronts than any other knife itself. They're more liable too, but you got to watch out for that little button. If you hit the wrong way, it may rip your pocket or stab your leg, but who knows? That's one thing I love about these knives. That's all I got.
All right. Okay, so I was trying to formulate my argument, and I got to say I don't have much either, but I am going to go in 3, 2, 1, and say that clearly the out the front automatic knives are superior to their out the side brothers, which are also awesome for the following reasons. The first reason is that if you are underwater and you need to deploy your knife, I'm going to scratch that. I'm going to forget the underwater. I'm going to start this. I'm going to go back and just and I'm going to keep the same amount of time and just say that out the front knives give you more flexibility in tight spaces. You can make the blade come out. You don't need swing space to get that thing to come out. The thing you must understand with out the fronts is that they are very purpose driven, and an out the side knife is frequently something that is used or in the past has been created for people who need help, who might not have the hand strength for a regular knife, or who might only have one hand. You push the button, it opens up. You push the button again, you close it against your leg. The out the front is a much more deliberate action. And so in that way, it presents a weakness to general use, but for purpose-driven, high-speed, low-drag usage, nothing beats an out the front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude, I got nothing. I don't know.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I should have prepared. I don't know why I wasn't prepared. Because really, like, my only real argument is they're so cool. They're cool. Oh, and they sound cool. Oh, and they look cool. Oh, and they're fun and cool to play with. That's all I got. That's all I got. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Or should I just say gentlemen? No, I'm sure there are plenty of ladies out there watching. EDC Oz says, excellent argument, and less space access sells out. Really? It does. Imagine you're really in a cramped space and you have this by your side and you really need the knife. And yeah. Well, good. I'm glad that resonated. All is not lost. All right, everybody. Well, I think that does it for Thursday Night Knives this week. Coming up on episode 334 of the Knife Junkie, it's Matthew Christensen we were just talking about before. Check him out. We talk about Christensen Knife Works. We talk about the Thug. We talk about the Maverick S. We talk about his custom work. Such awesome, cool stuff. Yeah, so make sure you join us there. And then join us on Wednesday for the midweek supplemental, where I go over new knives in my collection, new knives in the market, and then talk about a certain aspect of knives and show off a whole bunch of them. Yeah, that's about it. And Jim, thank you so much. Oh, yeah, that's right. Patreon. You can check us out on Patreon by going to thenifejunkie.com/Patreon or zapping the QR code. Every time I say zapping the QR code, I'm like, man, I'm dating myself. Zap it. Just zap it. Be sure to zap that QR code and it'll take you right there. All right, everybody. So thanks for joining us on the Knife Junkie podcast. For Brant and for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, next week, don't take dull for an answer.